Hey guys, it is Tuesday and I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling much better. I have been finishing up writing the scene that I started this past weekend when the 90-day novel kickoff started and also the Writers Coven streamathon happened. A bunch of author tubers were streaming like all weekend long. It was so much fun. It was Halloween themed. But I personally don't write on weekends, so I actually just outlined this scene that I was working through because it was a little difficult for some reason for me to do. I just felt like it wasn't genuine of the character to do all those things, and finally I got it right. And this week we're gonna finish writing this scene out, which is after the midpoint for both protagonists, because I want the FMC and MMC, so Eliana and Theo, to mirror what they're going through, but also contrast it, you know? I don't know why I did that, but it's a lot of work. But that's what we're doing, and we're gonna get it done. And if you hear me doing that all week for the next few days, I am recovering and I feel much better. I was so sick last week and I just feel much better. I feel much better this week, and I'm ready to be productive. So come along with me, see a little bit of my life, and finishing this project because we gotta do it. We have to do it. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. Right, so I was just about to iron some clothes and Madeline was doing a stream, but I can't write the entire time because we have a play date. So I only managed to oh my god. It's my fault. My plants. Goddamn cat, bro. Okay, good morning guys. It is Wednesday and I have 3 minutes till I go live. And I'm wondering to myself why I keep doing this. Oh, and I'm tired from the day before, but I do it to be held accountable. I'm trying to finish this draft. I am still writing the same scene because I didn't write any more after yesterday's shenanigans. I was exhausted, and that's why I'm so tired. Socializing just wears me out, and tomorrow I have to do more, so talking to more people, I mean, so there is that. But I'm hoping that this stream finds everyone ready to write. I need accountability this morning because I'm exhausted mentally. And I just want to go on that chair and read my book. So I'm probably going to do like, I don't know, like ladders of productivity, like do 15 minutes for the first sprint, 25, then 25. So that should give us enough time to do some writing. So I better go, have a minute left. So I'll see you guys when I start writing. Okay, so I just finished the stream. It was a little bit longer than usual. I did a warm-up of 15 minutes and then 2 25-minute sprints, and I'm really liking that setup. And I actually did not a lot of writing quantity-wise, but quality-wise, it's really good. And this is how I want it to be, and I think this is why I was so hesitant in this big revelation / betrayal for our male protagonist Theo, because I wanted it to be presented in that way, the way that it is now, which is like just a betrayal of a friend who's more like a brother, and everyone being used against him, you know? So really liking that. Got my energy back. I have my 2 kids here, if you guys can't hear. But we're about to go downstairs, have breakfast, and today is going to be one of those days where we just chillax, because like yesterday really wore me out. And tomorrow I'm thinking of going to a mom group meetup just to make friends, and hopefully like make connections where my kids can play with their kids, and that's the big thing there. And also just to see what's around in the community so that we can support one another. That's a big one for me. I'm really big on supporting the community, which I didn't think I would be one of those people, but I am as I've gotten older. But the stream was so much fun. I was a little, at first when I got on, I was like, oh, why did I put myself through this? But then every time I do it, it's good. I'm gonna go ahead and create the stream for next week so I don't back out from it. So it's going well though, so I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm done for the day, guys. That is enough for the day. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday, and I'm up super early and actually out of bed. Typically, I'm up, but I don't get out of bed so I can force myself to sleep. But this time, I can't. I think I'm anxious about the little get-together that I have today with other moms, and that happens quite a bit with me. That's okay. We're gonna write anyway. I'm considering like not having coffee this morning, but I know I'll get a little bit of a headache if I do that, so I'm just gonna have a tiny bit of coffee and drink some tea at the cafe where we're meeting up. And if you see like fuzzies on my sweater, I think I washed this with a tag and now there's like fuzzies on it. But writing update, because that's why you guys are here. Yesterday I wrote about 2,000 words. Still not done with the chapter. I'm finishing it today. I am gonna finish it this morning. I need to edit my vlog from last week, even though it's not the best, but it is very realistic, and the whole point of me vlogging is so I could look back on it and see where I've been during this journey, and I'm editing it too. So yeah, that's what we're doing. We're gonna finish this today. We're gonna go to the mommy and me group thing, which is at 9:30. It's 6:32. And my anxiety is just like, you need to get ready at this time so that you can make it in time, and you have to get the kids ready. But I'm trying to chill. I'm not so much worried about the social interaction. I'm more worried about getting there in time, because I do have 2 kids that I'm bringing, and it's literally 5 minutes down the road. But that's how my mind works when I have something or somewhere to do or go to. I always my mind just does that, which is okay. It's not too detrimental. But I'll check in with you guys in a little bit after I make some coffee and get my whole writing setup done. Probably will read a little bit. Really loving Uprooted, which I talked about yesterday. So I'll see you guys in a little bit. All right. Okay, so I am wearing pajamas. I don't care. But I just actually finished chapter 32, and I have 59,502 words, which is not a lot, but I do love the quality of my work now versus what I used to do, or what it used to be in the first draft. So And I am going to be adding more scenes in the beginning of Act 2 in my next revision. But right now, we finished the, I guess, Dark Night of the Soul, the start of the Dark Night of the Soul for our male protagonist. And now we are going to move on to our main protagonist, our female protagonist, Eliana, as she gets to that point as well. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I was hesitant on writing the male protagonist, Dark Night of the Soul, and I'm even like hesitant to write the female protagonist, Dark Night of the Soul, because originally she loses her only family member and in the first draft, but I have to consider if it's actually necessary, because I'm not a person that will just kill off characters just to make you cry. Like, there needs to be a purpose to their death if they are going to die, right? Or if they're going to be lost somewhere. And the female protagonist, I am considering what it is that's going to like make her crack, you know, because she needs to finally snap out of it and change. So that is what I am debating here, and I have to think about these things because it has deviated from the original draft 2 outline, and it's becoming its own thing. Like, I outlined things scene by scene, and I'm like completely like deviated, which is fine because I have this idea in my head, and I think it's a better way for the story overall. And I am doing my best to make this a standalone, but I don't think it's becoming a standalone, guys. Probably like a duology. But I'm writing it as much as I can as a first book. Does that make sense? I'm like writing this big thing and then hopefully like divide it later on, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's just that's just an idea, but I have to figure out the ending of the book, because the first draft ended with the protagonist being taken to the opposing kingdom. However, she was like a punching bag for the plot, and she didn't do anything for herself, which I don't like, even though if she's more of like a quiet, feminine hero. Even when you're like that, you can make decisions on your own and not just be whisked away by the world, you know what I mean? So I have to think about that. So I'm brainstorming the 32nd chapter and still reminding myself that I have a lot of scenes to write for the second act. So, and now that I've been talking, I'm considering like, if I have written for Eliana, the bad guys closing in, and Dark Night of the Soul, but it wasn't as impactful. I don't know. We will see. We'll see. It might be something I need to work on. So I need to write like a note to myself with that. Because she lost someone in a way for her, I guess. So that's where my thoughts are. I feel like that's so jumbled. I'm so sorry. But I have some ideas and I gotta write it down. So I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm going to brainstorm. And also, I probably need to get ready soon. In like 30 minutes. Alright. So I'm back. And I'm in the same spot because I have been thinking and just thinking about this, and I have written some notes down, and I pulled this blasted book again. I have a love-hate relationship with this book. I've noticed when I read it, I feel lost and it makes me feel dumb. And I have to remind myself that this is just a guide. It is not a rule, it is a guide. And I just want to make sure when I'm pulling this out that I remember that, and that it helps make the story flow easier, but doesn't have to necessarily like happen in that order that they say. So I've realized a few things. More scenes need to be added in Act 2 to get to our to get to the bad guys closing in, all is lost, and Dark Night of the Soul for Eliana, who's the protagonist, and it needs to be more impactful. The male protagonist, Theos, was really impactful. He has lost everything, and he's gone, and now we shift back to Eliana's perspective, where everything's kind of closing in. Everything's closing in. Plot holes are not plot holes, but plot strands are being tied up. And I also went back and made sure I made a note about an earlier chapter, because the next book will have something to do with what's next. But here we have a little bit of a revelation coming up, and our main villain has not been revealed just yet, and he will be revealed at the end of this book, I think. But right now we are gonna enter into like Act 3, I think. I don't know what I'm thinking. There's like a lot to write. There's a lot to write, and I gotta remember that this is a guide. But Eliana is still kind of like, she's still wallowing. She really is. And she has gone back to the familiar, which is part of the Dark Night of the Soul, and she's still there, right? And she's realizing like certain things, like that what has happened to her, losing her friends and this love interest, is more painful, is painful, but it's not as painful as being with, like, what am I trying to say? She's used to being alone, and she thinks that will give her the armor that she needs, but it's actually more painful to be without them, right? She would rather be with them, and it's a quick realization that there are people that are more important than her older brother, which is a shock, I guess. But that is what she's thinking about in this section, which I will write about. All right, so that's what's happening, and then I feel like she's gonna lose someone important that was mentioned in the earlier chapter, and one that will kind of like tie up her trauma a little bit and explain to her why they did what they did in the past. And I think that's a great idea. In fact, I need to write it down. I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna write it down before I lose that thought. But I think that's better. Yeah, I think I'm happier with that. And then I need a final battle scene. Damn, dude, there's a lot of stuff happening. Okay, I have yapped enough. Thank you so much for being here for that, helping me get through that. This is why I do vlogs. It really helps me like talk it out and untangle some stuff when my friends are still asleep. So well, the friends that know the plot, which is very little. I've only had a few people read this, and it's only the first 2 chapters. So a lot of it is up here. And sometimes it gets a little complicated if I don't say it out loud. So, yeah. Okay. See you guys in a little bit, probably in a few hours, because I need to get ready to leave the house soon. All right. Bye. Okay. All right. So I'm back from the mom group thing that I went to at the local cafe, which was like literally down the street from where I live. So it was super close. And I'm so glad I went. I was really battling not going because I am somebody who gets really comfortable being at home and being comfortable alone as I've gotten older. I used to like go out with friends like almost every weekend and almost like every day, like my close group of friends. And I didn't mind it because they were like we were such close friends. And now that I'm like married and have kids and I've changed as a person, those friendships have like faded. I'm still very cordial with them, but it's just not the same, and that's okay. And it was something that I really struggled with when I got married and like quickly had a baby. It was a thing to really adjust to, and one that I had a hard time adjusting to. And for a while, and in therapy, when I talked about this, I had kind of like just reclined into this season of my life where I just don't have the time to cultivate those friendships. And I was okay with that. And now that my oldest is like getting older, my youngest is like getting older as well. And now like I'm pregnant, I I think there is space for friendships, but it's gonna have to be a different kind of friendship with other people that have similarities of where I am in life. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think people come into your life to serve a purpose. And if they stay, great. If they don't, then they don't. That's kind of like in any relationship. You either grow with them or you don't. And that is a big factor in any relationship. Um, but I am glad I went. I met like a lot of people in different walks of their life and where they are in motherhood and where they are as a woman. And I really like that. My kids came and they played with other kids there. It was actually the cafe owner's kids. She's also, well, a mom, but it was fun. And I should really DM her. But that, I used to get so weird about that, like approaching moms and being like, hey, we should get together and like have play dates. But now it's kind of like, it's either I let that fear, let that anxiety get the best of me, or my kids suffer. I want them to be social. I want them to engage with others, and I don't want to be the one to stop that and teach them that. So I do my best to get myself out there. And today was one of those moments, and I'm so glad that I went. But outside of that, and apart from that, um, I am ending this vlog here. Actually, I'm ending this vlog here because it's Thursday, and since my husband no longer works on Fridays, um, my weekend actually starts on Fridays now. And also, I have like a dentist appointment tomorrow. And oh, don't get me started with the dentist. I am terrified of dentists. Like, I'll still go. It's just I get super anxious, like more so than going to the doctor. There's something about the teeth because that's like basically bones, and you're like drilling into it. Oh, that just creeps me out. But yeah, I'm gonna end the vlog here. I managed to finish the scenes that I worked on last weekend during the writers coven streams and finish the chapter. And I actually started outlining the next chapter as well as what the ending is going to start looking like making my way towards that. And I think that I'm going to do that for the rest of the day, so that I have like a plan written down loosely because things happen when you write. Well, characters do whatever they want to do, but I'm glad that I was able to like work through that earlier with you guys. But that is what I'm going to do the rest of the time, and I will probably be doing it this weekend and just getting it together, like finishing whatever it is that I had in my head, so that come Monday I can start writing this out. The 90-day novel challenge is going well. I'm not pushing myself hard, because the reason why Cody made it into 3 months versus like a month of writing is to have more grace with it, so that you're not pushing yourself to burn out. At least that's what I recall him saying, but please correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, it's been a good week. It's been productive. Hopefully my hair hasn't been in the way and making all sorts of noise this entire time, because that'll suck. But thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you then. Bye.